Today in Draw My Life, all about Lady Dimitrescu. Attention gamers, this video is for you. We know that today is the day that many of you have been waiting for. Friday was the premiere of Resident Evil Village, the next installment in the video game series of the same name. Today we're going to talk about one of the characters that has gone viral on social media, Lady Dimitrescu. If you're fans of Resident Evil but haven't subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Hit the button and activate the bell icon. Okay, so Lady Dimitrescu is the main villain of Resident Evil Village. If that surprised you, we're sure it didn't. You should know that female villains exist in video games. Do you know any? Don't worry if the answer is no, since we're going to make sure that by the end of this video, the answer is yes, and that you even know how to name them. So get that paper and pen ready, because now we're going to quickly tell you about 8 of the best female villains that ever exist in the world of video games. The first on our list belongs to the Final Fantasy universe, specifically Final Fantasy VIII. We're talking about the main antagonist of the title, Ultimecia. She's a powerful sorceress whose ultimate goal is to compress all time and space to become a goddess. Then, we have Sniper Wolf from Metal Gear Solid series. She's one of the members of Foxhound, making her an enemy and perfect target for Snake, the protagonist of this universe. She's also a sniper and quite good at it. We continue with Silent Hill, but stop there. We know that the main enemy is Alessa Gillespie, but in this list we point to her mother, Dahlia Gillespie. Why? Because she is the reason why Alexa becomes a monster by being a victim of her constant abuse. And as if that were not enough, she's the leader of the Order, the religious sect that torments you during the game. Next, we have Sophia Lamb, psychiatrist and main villain of BioShock 2. After the death of Andrew Ryan, she becomes the head of Rapture, although with a completely different ideological vision. We go to 1985 with the next one on the list. We're talking about Carmen Sandiego, protagonist of the educational game series with the same name. This woman is a professional thief who always manages to get her way. Her popularity has led her to the other media platforms such as television and film. And since we're talking about video games that have been adapted, we also should add Mitochondria Eve, the main villain of the video game Parasite Eve. Is dangerous in any of her transformations since her goal is to evolve into the human species. If your thing is horror video games, then you probably know about Fear. Well, yes, it's time to talk about Alma Wade, the little girl who causes death and destruction wherever she goes. In fact, she's a woman with psychic abilities who is capable of causing terror, even to the most experienced players. Finally, we can't leave out another powerful psychic woman, Sarah Kerrigan, the one who later becomes the Queen of Blades of Zerg in the StarCraft universe. She's the main antagonist whose story unfolds throughout the entire series. Now that we know that Resident Evil Village introduced the 9th most iconic villain, we will try to explain a little for those who are not familiar with this title. Also known as Resident Evil 8th, the video game belongs to the horror survival genre, and as the name implies, is the 8th installment in the Resident Evil series, a direct sequel to Resident Evil 7, Biohazard. Its producer is Tsuyoshi Kanda, and is developed and distributed by Capcom. This video game was announced on June 11th, 2020 during the PlayStation 5 reveal event, although it will also be available for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Microsoft Windows consoles. It's set in the first-person perspective, much like Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. On January 21st, 2021, a demo of Resident Evil 8 called Maiden was released exclusively for PlayStation 5. The story takes place years after the events of Resident Evil 7, in which Ethan Winters finds himself living peacefully in a new place with his wife Mia, away from nightmares he lived in the past. The site is located in isolated mountains which are around the town and the 15th century Dimitrescu castle. However, as soon as the couple seems to begin building their new lives, they're interrupted by tragic events of an alleged Blue Umbrella operation led by Chris Redfield. Ethan and Mia's house is attacked by a group of individuals who kidnap their daughter. Once again, Ethan must enter the house from which he was trying to escape to rescue his daughter and return her to safety. To achieve this, he'll have to travel through the town where strange events occur and where he'll meet abnormal creatures and beings. Not much else is known about the story except that Capcom confirmed that the attacker this time is Chris, and that Ethan's story will have a conclusion in this installment. Now, we're finally talking about the protagonist of this video, Lady Dimitrescu. Her real name is Alcina Dimitrescu, and she's suspected of being the matriarch of the Dimitrescu family. She inherited Dimitrescu Castle, a fortress controlled by this family since its medieval beginnings, and has been linked to a series of violent murders. She wears a white dress, has a scary smile, and is about 10 feet tall. There are elements that suggest that behind the character, there is an inspiration in Japanese and Hungarian legends. Her appearance is the first of these elements, so stick with all the details. In Castle Dimitrescu, she lives with 3 women whom she considers her daughters. Again, remember this point. And it's suspected that due to the type of crimes to which she is tied to, this woman is a vampire. It is also shown through her personality in Resident Evil Village Maiden demo, with one of the intense discussions she has with one of her daughters. The last clue is that this new installment of the series features elements of European folklore. Let's talk first about Japan, the popular legend of the spirit or yokai known as Hashi-Haku-sama. In fact, its name can be translated as 2.5 meters tall. The spirit has the appearance of a rather tall woman with long black hair who wears a dress and hat, and she doesn't wear any shoes. According to the legend, Hashi-Haku-sama has a deep voice. In addition, she repeats the same sound when speaking, the syllable po. Her victims are mainly young children. To catch her victims, Hashi-Haku-sama spies on children she wants to capture for days, or even months. She then captures them by taking them away from their family and later murders them. The reason she doesn't go hunting for adults is because children are still dependent on their family members, and Hashi-Haku-sama can impersonate them to deceive their victims. The spirit can vary in appearance, meaning that it can present itself as an attractive woman. It's her height that gives her the non-human element. On the other hand, we have the Hungarian legend based on the real character, Erzsébet Báthory, who also became known as the Bloody Countess. We have told you about her in other videos, but in case you need it, we'll refresh your memory. Erzsébet, a Hungarian noblewoman, is considered the murderer who has taken the most lives in the history of mankind. About 300 people testified about her cruel practices, which her victims used to be young girls between the ages of 10 and 14. She was arrested in December 1610, along with 4 servants who were accused as her collaborators. In her castle, the mutilated bodies of dead or half-dead women were found, some of whom were imprisoned. Her story takes a turn as it's suspected that she practiced cannibalism and that she also bathed in the blood of her victims to preserve her youth. Finally, her collaborators were 3 witches who were in her service. Do you see the similarity between Lady Dimitrescu, Hashi-Haku-sama, and Erzsébet Báthory? In terms of appearance, we see that her height and white dress takes from the Japanese spirit, while her vampiric nature picks from the Bloody Countess. Come on! The story of the Hungarian woman is almost word for word that of Lady Dimitrescu. They both live in a castle, they have 3 collaborators, and it seems that the essence of both is around blood. But to uncover the entire mystery of Lady Dimitrescu, we will have to get more into the video game. Are you ready for Resident Evil Village? We hope that you like this video, and if so, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell icon. Until the next video!